Hello, are you struggling with pain? So try the simple three-step nervous system routine. Now, if you are an executive mom, you don't have the luxury of taking time out every time you have a flare up of pain. And you might be one of those who pushes through discomfort and you rely on those quick fixes like stretches, massages, pain relievers. I mean, these have a place, but sometimes we just use them as a band-aid solutions or a quick fix. But if that pain keeps on returning and your nervous system gets stuck in that flight or flight, like in that overdrive, whereas in that fight or flight mode that you might have heard about, it keeps your body in this heightened state of tension, in this heightened state of survival, and you are not able to reduce that pain when you are in this state. So it is very important that you need to reset your nervous system in order to get that long-term pain relief. Now, I talk a lot about spinal and nerve pain. If you've heard me talk about these things before, if you've seen any of my videos before. However, I also want to address the nervous system, the emotional side of pain. So this is one of those videos. If you are stuck in that long-term cycle of pain and those quick fixes are not working for you, let us talk about a simple three-step approach to reset your nervous system, to get that long-term pain relief, to get something that actually works with your busy schedule. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Swati. I'm an executive mom power coach. I help moms of younger kids who work in high-stress executive jobs to manage their spinal, that is back and neck and nerve pain, despite low energy levels and brain fog. Now, I do this by giving you a couple of things that I do is simple exercises, some easy lifestyle modifications, some tips and tricks that have helped me in my own pain and adrenal fatigue journey. For me, adrenal fatigue, it's a very wide term, but for me, it was mainly low energy levels and brain fog or lack of focus. And when you have these two, it is very difficult to manage your pain. Not impossible. I've done it. So can you. So I do all of this without taking away a big chunk of your time because, hey, we are moms, we are busy people, right? So let's talk about a simple three-step approach to reset your nervous system for long-term pain relief. So the very first thing, how do you start this process? So the very first step is you need to shift out of this overdrive or this fight or flight mode that your nervous system is in. Now, what exactly is this fight or flight? Let me just address this first. So sometimes our nervous system get, because of that heightened state of overdrive, that pain, that constant nagging pain that you have in the background or maybe in the foreground, um, your body gets stuck in the survival mode where it's just surviving day to day to day, right? And it is not able to relax and calm down. So when you're stressed, your old injuries or poor movement pattern keeps your nervous system in high alert, your pain signals become more intense. Now, the very first step in resetting your nervous system is teaching your body that it is okay to relax. It is like telling a small child that it is okay to relax, they are safe, they are calm, and they can manage whatever is coming their way. So what you can do is breathing. Now, breath is this is, if you look at all the old Eastern systems of breathing techniques, even modern day yoga, breath is something that is emphasized upon, right? So for us, we can do diaphragmatic breathing. Let's talk about diaphragmatic breathing, where you inhale deeply through your nose, you expand your belly, and then you exhale slowly through your mouth. So let me just show you this. It is basically your upper belly here. So I'll just go back a little. So it is your upper part of your belly, so the lower end of your rib cage. So these pokey bones that you have, these are your ribs. So the lower part of your rib cage, where my hand is right now, if you can see that, you breathe in. So you're expanding this part of your upper part of your belly, so the lower end of your rib cage, and you're going to breathe out through the mouth as if you're blowing a balloon. So you are going in, out. So like you're blowing a candle or you're blowing a balloon. So this is a diaphragmatic breathing. Basically, your diaphragm is a muscle that sits around here. So it's the mushroom shaped muscle. Think about it as a big mushroom that divides your body into that upper part where your lungs and thorax and your heart is sitting, and the lower part where your abdominal organs are sitting. So this is diaphragmatic breathing. Why is it important? Because diaphragm is the obviously it's a muscle of respiration, but the um, When you do diaphragmatic breathing, it helps you relax because of the vagus nerve that passes through, and that has always been linked to relaxation. I mean, you can read up more about that. But moving on, legs up the wall pose. Now, this is something that has really worked for me, especially in those acute adrenal fatigue flare ups that I've had. So when I feel that, okay, I am done, I just go lie down, put my feet up on the wall for 3 to 5 seconds. And the instant relaxation that I feel, I think this is something that is so simple. Of course, you need to be in a place, not in your workplace, but you need to be in a place where you can actually lie down and put your feet up on the wall. So if your back hurts, remember this, if your back hurts when you're putting both your feet up on the wall, bend your knees. It still works. Or bend one knee, keep the other knee straight, and then swap. Bend the other knee and keep this first one straight. So this up the wall really helps. Okay. What is the next one? So progressive muscle relaxation. You can gently tense and release each muscle group. So for example, if you are thinking, say, you have this achiness around your shoulders, so you want to tense and relax. So tense and relax. Remember to breathe when you're doing this. You don't want to do any breathing exercises here. That is separate. This is just about muscular relaxation, right? Physical relaxation. Next thing is strengthen your mind body connection. Now, how do you do that? Gentle. Okay, so why is it important? First, so your brain and your nervous system control how you perceive pain by using mindful movements and by awareness techniques. These awareness techniques that I'll just tell you, you can train your body to react to discomfort in a different way. So the pain is there, but it's about how reactive is your mind or your nervous system to that pain. So you can try this. This first one really works for me. Rocking or swaying movements, it calms your nervous system. Some people even use those fidget toys, so you know those poppets, many kids nowadays are using it, but it's good for adults as well. Or you have one of those fidget pens where you can do click 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 click, right? So or you can just do simple rocking movements, side to side, back in front. You could do these. What else? Just looking at my notes. Visualization, if that, so I'm giving you a certain like couple of options, so see what works for you. You don't have to do everything, right? Visualization exercises where you can imagine you're moving pain free, or you are on, say, like the mountains are my place, right, where I love to go for holidays. So I'm in the mountains walking through those, in the midst of those clouds. So I just close my eyes, I visualize that, and I feel really relaxed about it. Posture check-ins. Now, this is something that is very physical, of course, but posture check-ins is something like, roll your shoulders back and down, make sure your neck is not holding any tension, take a deep breath, relax your body. So posture check-in is basically every single joint, you go through every single joint, and then you see whether it is neutrally aligned or whether it's in a good alignment. I have written a blog on the same topic. It is called, a simple 3-step approach to resetting your nervous system for pain relief. I will leave a link to that blog in the description of this video. If you're watching me on Instagram, the link is in my bio. However, if you cannot find it, do let me know and I can send it across to you. um, that blog also has a video on how do you know if you have a good sitting posture. It tells you how to do your posture reset. It talks, okay, let's move on to the next point, and then I'll tell you what else the blog talks about because it's related. So you want to move in a way that reduces and not triggers pain. Now your nervous system holds on to your pain patterns. So what happens is there's a certain way in which you react to the pain, there's a certain way in which you move your body. So for example, every time I turn my neck this side, I feel a pain in my right side of my neck. So my nervous system remembers that. So you need to reset this. So the pain is not going anywhere, the movement is to be done, but how do you reset these patterns? Slow, controlled mobility exercises to improve your range of motion. That is the amount that I'm moving my neck, right? So suppose I'm driving and I need to do a shoulder check, right? So how much am I moving? Am I mindful of this movement, or I'm just doing a sudden shoulder check as I'm driving, right? So how are you doing that movement without flaring up the pain? Sometimes what I've realized is if I have, say, a pain in like this muscle here tends to get tight, so I hold on to it and then I do my shoulder check and back. Of course, many times you don't have the time to do that when you're driving, but if I remember, I try and do that. Now, you can do some spinal twists or gentle shoulder rolls to release that tension from long hours of sitting. This is similar to the previous point I talked about. You can also do some core activation drills. The core muscles will help you to support your posture. It will help you to take off that pressure from the overstressed muscles. Now, if you think I've told you too many strategies here, go back to that blog, have a look at it. It has all of this. It also gives you the details. It takes you to another a blog of mine that talks about core activation drills. And this blog has a free checklist for 10 easy desk based exercises to strengthen your core. So I'm just reading it off my notes here. So basically, this checklist is designed for busy days when you don't have the time to leave your seat, but you still want to feel stronger, more supported, right? Excuse me. So with these simple, they are simple discrete exercises. You are able to activate your core and you don't even have to leave your seat. You're able to work on your posture, which of course, once your posture is good, that really sorts out everything. If you know me for more than two, you know me for more than two videos or three, you know I talk a lot about posture. Anyway, this video is getting a bit too long because I will cut it off here. There are more details in that blog. Check it out in the description of this video. If you're on Instagram, check it out on my bio. You can't find it, send me a message. I'll send it across to you. Alrighty, I hope this was useful. There's a lot of things that I talked about. Do not get confused. Ask me your questions. Drop them in the comments below. I'll be